Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, the deceased King Canary Star's 3 children finally aged up into young adults, becoming warriors in their own right, and within that group we had his youngest child and apprentice actually get the title of the Bear Prince, which was very exciting for us. Now, of course, along with that, we had a new pairing that was made because King Canary Star's daughter actually, like Flarefreckle, she aged up, and when he was alive, he had determined that he would make the next pairing with her. So the new king went ahead and arranged a match between Flarefreckle and Smokewater, which was kind of surprising, I feel like, for Smokewater, because also in the last episode, Smokewater finally worked up the courage to confess to King Fernstar, and Fernstar actually accepted his confession and those two became mates. And then, not too long after, Fernstar went ahead, broke off their relationship to make the official pairing between Smokewater and Flarefreckle. So I'm very intrigued to see how Smokewater is going to be reacting to all of this, but also how Flarefreckle is going to react to this particular match. So without further ado, let us go straight to the leader's den and roll the dice to see how Fernstar and Cropelt are going to handle the next gathering. And look at that, we don't have any hostilities. Even Down Clan has become neutral under the new king. Okay, I got a 1 on the D10, so that's Snowy Clan, and a 3 on the D8, which is a provoke. Okay, Fernstar is going to try provoking Snowy Clan, but I mean, we're usually trying to help out anyways, so maybe things will never actually progress too much into hostilities, because we show attitude at the gathering, you know, when our king goes to meet the independent groups, but then we help them in the background, so that becomes that. Let us skip a moon. We have some birth and death notices. Terrible weather convinces Cropel to skip this gathering. Any provocation of Snowy Clan can wait until the sky isn't caving in on Royal Clan. Snowy Clan relations are unchanged. That makes me happy. Scorch Moss finally feels back to normal after the strain of birthing a litter. Icicle Speck has recovered from white cough. Watergale was found stiff and curled up in his nest. It seems he died in his sleep. Oh no, guys, we lost Watergale. We actually lost Watergale, whose kittens are like barely a few moons old. Oh no, Watergale. Shining Stripe will always feel his grief, but time has softened it at least a little. Flarefreckle was struggling with the recent flood of nightmares, but thankfully they seem to have stopped. Oh, that's right, Flarefreckle also, you know, apart from being mated, that might not be at the forefront of her mind because she's still grieving for her father, and she's been having a lot of nightmares with him as well. But it seems as though the nightmares at least have stopped. Scorchmoss can hardly process the sight of Watergale's body before her. Somehow the world feels colder and crueler now. In the days to come, she barely stirs from her nest. Oh, Scorchmoss! Pale Kit tries to put on a brave face. He was his parents' favorite, both his mother and father's favorite child, the youngest one of his litter, and my favorite, tries to put on a brave face for his clanmates, but as he speaks about Watergale, his voice wavers and then breaks off into nothing. With a trembling gasp, he retreats to let another clanmate speak. Cats offer him comfort and care. He refuses all of it. The past moon, Watergale has taken their place in Star Clan. Royal Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners, as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. Watergale! Oh no, yeah, his favorite child, Pale Kit, really took it hard, and so did his mate Scorchmoss. And isn't this very different to how King Canary Star's mate handled his passing? Buttercup Fin, well, I suppose she was actually recovering from birthing her litter, but yeah, I think she had to be stronger because of maybe the responsibility she felt towards her children at the time, who were adolescents. But Scorchmoss, you know, Scorchmoss, she's just recovered from birthing her litter, But no, Buttercup Finn, she wasn't recovering from birthing her litter. I'm mixing her with Scorch Moss. But I just find it interesting that she didn't go into deep grieving. Whereas, like, compared to two of her children, Shining Stripe went through it, Flare Freckle is still going through it. But Scorch Moss, she just came out of recovering from the birth, and now she's into grieving. I feel so sad for her. Okay, let's check up on, let's see, the Medicine Cat 10. Fernstar was given Thyme as treatment for grief-stricken. Scorch Moss was given Moss as treatment for recovering from birth, and then she recovered from birth. Icicle Speck was given Tansy as treatment for white cough, and then he recovered from that. Rosemary was used for Watergill's body. Shining Stripe was given Thyme as treatment for grief-stricken, and then he recovered from that. Flare Freckle was given Thyme as treatment for grief-stricken, and then her nightmare stopped. Pale Kid was given Thyme as treatment for grief-stricken, and Buttercup Finn could not find any herbs this moon. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how everyone is doing with relationships. Maybe we'll be able to piece together what Watergill was up to before he passed. After completing a chore, Fire Kit reports to Fernstar, King Fernstar. King Fernstar is giving Shade Kid a task. Icicle Speck gets a bug off of Crow Pelt's pelts and takes it out of camp. Crow Pelt, who is the king's right hand. Shining Stripe brought Crow Pelt some dry bedding. Scorch Moss is making up a new clan with Bear Pelt. Scorch Moss knows that the advice Bear Pelt gave her will be helpful. Icicle Speck notices that Shining Stripe is always one of the first to volunteer for a difficult task. Flailstorm argues with Smokewater in front of the other cats and reveals something embarrassing. Oh, I wonder, guys, if Flailstorm... I was gonna say, what if Flailstorm argued with Smokewater about... whatever it was. He argued with Smokewater about something, but then he kind of threw it in, like, Smokewater's face that he got rejected by the king. That's literally what the match with Flare Freckle means. It's a straight-out rejection, and Smokewater just can't face it. So I wonder if that's something that happened and that really embarrassed Smokewater. Like, regardless of what they were fighting about, Flailstorm came out with this quip, and he kind of, hit Smokewater below the belt, so to speak, by talking about that kind of sideways rejection that the king gave him. Ay. Okay, Flailstorm feels bad that he caused a problem for Fire Kit. Watergale is prancing around in front of Scorch Moss. Oh my goodness, you can see how in love with her he was. Spending time with her, prancing around her. He was probably very excited that she had recovered from her birth and they could spend more time with each other, like going away from the den and stuff. Watergale thought Icicle Speck was very polite today, and then he went ahead and exchanged some pleasantries with Icicle Speck, and that made him really happy, so he was having a good day. Smokewater thinks Fire Kit has been acting strangely. Smokewater bestows wisdom onto Flailstorm. Okay, so Smokewater had some time to cool down, and then he went back to Flailstorm. This is actually very nice. Instead of reacting, even though he was embarrassed, instead of lashing out at Flailstorm for pointing that out, he maybe went to Flailstorm and he explained to Flailstorm that he is not going to judge or question his own relationship with the king based on the king's very formal decision to grant Smokewater breeding rights with Flare Freckle, because that is for the betterment of the clan, and he's going to keep that decision separate to his feelings for King Fernstar. So that's actually very, very mature of him. Buttercup Finn gets some good advice from Flare Freckle about something trivial, so some mother-daughter bonding. Buttercup Finn and Bear Pelt debate about something interesting. Though they disagree, they stay amicable. So this is Buttercup Finn with her favorite child, which is really cute, some mother-son bonding. Icicle Speck follows through on a small promise made with Shining Stripe. Flare Freckle feels like she can count on her mother Buttercup Finn to give her the best treatment possible. Oh, that is so cute. That is so cute. I love that. Bear Pelt and Pale Kid watch drama unfold in the camp. So the last negative thing to happen was Smokewater thinking that Fire Kit is acting strangely. And Pale Kit and Bear Pelt, they're like watching that. Interesting. Flare Freckle squashes a bug that Fire Kit was watching. Shade Kid watches Smokewater wind up for a sneeze, but it never happens. Shade Kid, Buttercup Finn, and Crowpelt took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Buttercup Finn, who is I think the royal physician as well. Pale Kid is asking Buttercup Finn interesting questions. Scorchmoss, and then we had Watergill pass away. So it seems as though Watergill was having a really good day surrounded by loved ones before he passed away, because he spent time with his mate Scorchmoss, and then he had like a nice exchange with Icicle Speck. Well, that makes me feel better for him, because he did live to seniority. So he did live, like he died in seniority, so that would have been a very full life that he lived. So that makes me happy for him. But okay, that's what we have for the events. So let me cut the recording here and then we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let us continue with the cat list. First up, we have loyalties, where nothing has changed. Everything is still the same as it was beforehand. Now, I took a look at the relationships and some interesting things kind of popped up. So with Fernstar, guys, Fernstar, I don't know if you remember, had oh my goodness, I'm never gonna get over this, but he had, I think, like 5 bars or something around that of romance with Smokewater beforehand, and now it's down to 1. And if we look at her romance with Watergill, that has consistently been like 2.5 throughout Fernstar's life. Now, I am wondering whether Fernstar only accepted Smokewater because he knew that there was no place for him in Watergill's life, but after Watergill's death, he has been hit so hard by grief that the feelings he had for Smokewater, they've all pretty much fizzled, because it's kind of like reality has yanked him back once more in a different direction than it did like a couple moons ago or even last moon. But he's realizing how much his attachment to Watergill meant to him, even if it was one-sided. And so he can't see himself reciprocating Smokewater at this point in time. And I think what was supposed to be a gift to Smokewater, like pairing up Smokewater and Flarefreckle, it has become an excuse to stay away from Smokewater and not pursue anything with him. So I feel bad for Smokewater in that sense, and because of it, I really hope he works it out with Flarefreckle. He's been so devoted to Fernstar this whole time. I feel like he needs a happy ending with someone. So that was one thing I noticed. The other was, I think, with... I don't think it was with Crowpelt. I think it was with Scorchmoss and Flailstorm. And this wasn't a change that I saw in their relationship, but this was just something I had noted. Now that Watergill is not in the picture, I wonder if Scorchmoss, once she overcomes her grief, will finally go back to that fledgling romance, that interest she had in Flailstorm, and try and pursue something. Obviously, back when it first developed for her, Flailstorm didn't even kind of see her in the picture. He wasn't even interested. He wasn't interested in anyone. So it was like a one-sided thing. But in the time since then, Flailstorm has taken notice of her. So if she does give him attention now and she tries to pursue that, I feel like he will reciprocate. So that would be interesting, and it's mutual on both their ends. That'd be interesting if she comes out of this grief and wants, another relationship. That aside, I noticed with Smokewater that Smokewater, guys, has also started to notice Crowpelt. He has 1 bar of romance with Crowpelt. Out of all the cats over here, and even his feelings for Fernstar have diminished a bit, like quite a bit. His feelings for Fernstar have diminished, but he started noticing Crowpelt, and he is actually seriously taking Flarefreckle into account. And I think we can also, we got a sense of this when we were looking at the events, and who was he talking to? Was it Flailstorm? Was he having an argument with Flailstorm, I think, where he was trying to explain to Flailstorm that I am not judging, Fernstar's feelings for me based on this very formal arrangement she's made, or he's made. My goodness. So, yeah, I'm wondering whether, despite saying that, I'm wondering whether Smokewater truly believes that, or maybe despite saying that, he said that to, keep the king's respect. But that aside, maybe he's come to realize that what he had with Fernstar was built on a very weak foundation. And he's already tried once, like thrown everything into it, and it has given him an outcome that he thought he wanted, but it wasn't quite what he was expecting. And so maybe he is shifting his focus from Fernstar now to other cats. And maybe he's noticing Crowpelt, as someone maybe he wants to get to know more, aside from Fernstar. Or maybe he found an aspect of Crowpelt to admire. Something has made Crowpelt kind of stand out to him. But that aside, he's not putting too much attention into any of this, whether it's with Fernstar, Crowpelt, or his admiration for Scorchmoss, because he is still seriously considering how he's going to approach things with Flairfreckle. They have yet to kind of work that out. So that was pretty much what I noticed between all the cats. So let's go ahead and actually do... Oh no, we can't do mediation, can we? But we can take a look at them too. Just to compare. So we have Flairfreckle and Smokewater. So again, nothing has changed in terms of their relationship. Obviously, Smokewater has been dealing with other things he's been trying to work out, and he is kind of the type that I don't think feels too confident approaching other cats. He would rather kind of just observe from a distance and react when someone tries to interact with him. But obviously that's hard because Flairfreckle, who's usually the playful one, is currently grieving her father's death, so she's not really in a mood to be playful. So there is that. That's all we have for now. So things are going quite slow with the two of them. But okay, let's see what everyone is doing for the day. Fernstar, let's have a look, is feeling a sense of dread, which is not good. Also, I feel like I didn't read the leader ceremony for Fernstar. And I was supposed to do that, 2 episodes ago? I feel like I forgot. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. But we don't have apprentices today, so let me go through everything. I'm saying this, but I might forget. Let's go through what they're doing, and then I'll come back and try and remember to read for Fernstar. Crowpelt bargains with StarClan, begging them to send Watergale back. Oh, Crowpelt. Buttercup Finn is in denial of Watergale's death despite the ongoing vigil. I mean, Watergale's been around for a long, long time, so obviously the cats would feel like it's very jarring to suddenly have him be gone. Scorchmoss is watching cats come and go from camp. Flailstorm saw a kitty pet with the fluffiest fur imaginable today. Icicle Speck cleans the clearing of fallen leaves. Bearpelt saw a pair of 2 legs near camp today. Shining Stripe is giving some advice to Flailstorm. Flairfreckle doesn't want to go on dusk patrol. Smokewater is giving advice to the younger cats. Firekit defensively states that she doesn't need any comfort about Watergale's death. Aww. This self-conscious young kitten maybe feels as though others are gonna, pity her too much, put too much, or, judge her too much if she suddenly devolves into a bundle of tears. But, Firekit, you're 3 months old. It's okay to weep for your dead father. It's fine. You don't have to be self-conscious about what other cats are gonna think. This is how a kitten acts. It's okay. Shade Kit picked the best spot in the burial grounds for Watergale. Oh my goodness. He's impulsive, but he impulsively felt as though he should do this for his father, and he went and he did it. I love it. And Pale Kit is asking Icicle Speck an important question. Oh, he's so deep in grieving, I feel like Pale Kit doesn't even want to think about it. Even though there's this constant feeling in his chest that is winding and winding, and he feels like it's never going to come loose, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to pretend that everything's perfect and his father's still around and alive, and, he's daydreaming. Oh, Pale Kit. Okay, we need to do the ceremony for Fernstar before I forget. We need to check that. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Ferntail leaves to speak with StarClan. He closes his eyes and is immediately surrounded by his loved ones, friends, and clanmates who have passed on. Stars shine throughout their pelts and their eyes are warm as they greet the new leader. Goldusk pads up to the new leader, softly touching his nose to Ferntail's head. He gives a life for duty. Goldusk, who was a very promising warrior that we had in the very first episode, and then unfortunately he was killed by a big dog. When Heatherfoot presses his nose against Ferntail's head to give a life a certainty, he swears that he can already see starlight in his fur. Finally, Canary Star steps forward. There is pride in his gaze as he stares into Ferntail's eyes. He gives a life for knowing when to fight and when to choose peace. Okay, so King Canary Star steps forward over here. That's surprising coming from Canary Star, given he was a very cold leader. Suddenly, the mist at the edge of the clearing takes shape. Dozens of wispy, starry-eyed spirits emerge, quickly surrounding Ferntail. We grant you your remaining 6 lives. Individually, each voice is distant, but together the force of their words shakes Ferntail to his core. Use them well with our blessing, and in a heartbeat they are gone. Canary Star hails Ferntail by his new name, Fernstar, telling him that his old life is no more. He is granted guardianship of Royal Clan, and is told to use his new power wisely. The group of starry cats yowls Fernstar's name in support. Fernstar wakes up feeling a new strength within his body, and knows that he is now ready to lead the clan. So we got to see Goldusk and King Canary Star again, which would have been very surreal and reassuring for King Fernstar. But okay, that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and then we'll continue with patrols. Okay, let's resume with our patrols. We currently have 60.2 prey and we need 26.5, so we're not worrying about food. We'll send out our Royal Physician, Buttercupfin, first of all. As the melon towers impressively over the other plants, it's a good time to harvest it. Proceed. Easing the lungs of those with weaker chest muscles or infections, helping with certain sorts of pain, and being used to treat unhappy guts, mullein is a good herb to keep in stock, even if it doesn't have the glamour of catmint or the rarity of lungwort. And then we have our patrol of 5, with Shining Stripe, Bear Pelt, Icicle Speck, Flailstorm, and Crow Pelt. So let's see what these guys get up to. As he trails behind the patrol, there's a mighty crash above Shining Stripe. He looks around wildly just as the world is blotted out by a tangle of heavy falling branches. Proceed. Crowpelt tugs on just the right branch, lifting the pile off of Shining Stripe for long enough for the other cats to scramble free. So Shining Stripe had a scary incident of branches falling on him. I wonder, can the cats get injured from this or die from this? I've had 2 instances of it, and both times the cats have managed to get out fine. But I'm wondering if this is similar to the kind of prompt you get in the mountain background when you have, I think, the rocks kind of falling beneath you or the path crumbling and your cat being covered by rubble and rocks. I wonder if it's similar to that. But okay, that was very good, that the right hand of the king managed to pull out Shining Stripe, or managed to get him out somehow, and thankfully all our cats are okay and nothing bad happened to them. But it seems as though that is all we managed to get done today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna end off the episode here. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.